Thanks, guys, for that shipper update for our first hour of FreightWaves Now this morning. Right now, we're going to welcome our next live guest, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict is top of mind for all of us right now, especially in the logistics industry, and we've got some folks stepping up to help those in need during the crisis, and one of those folks is leading the charge. We've got Sergey Bort from GP Transco with us today. Sergey, thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you're doing to support these people.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the program that you guys have started with GP Transco. You guys have raised a pretty significant amount of money so far. What are you guys doing?
So over the weekend, I kind of was sitting down and thinking, what is it that I can personally do to help the Ukrainian people during this time of unjust war? And I thought about donations, and I thought about how much can I realistically do on my own, from my end. Then I basically thought, well, what can we do as a company? And I thought, how significant would that be? And then I started to think a little bit bigger about what can we do in the industry. And essentially, I called Dominic, my CEO, and I said, you know what, can we try getting some carriers and some companies in our industry together and try to raise a little bit of awareness about the issue and see if we can raise some funds and point them in the right direction of, where to donate in humanitarian aid. And we've been at it for about 72 hours, and this we have 15 companies on board so far. We've been able to raise right about a little over $300,000, and we are now having companies continuing to contact us, especially after Todd Maiden of FreightWaves, thank you, Todd, published an article kind of bringing a little bit more awareness to this. So it's not that we're a nonprofit or that we're collecting the funds directly. It's just that we're trying to get as many people in the industry together to raise awareness and kind of stand up. Because once a company begins to see that other companies are participating, they're more eager and more likely to join. So the more, the better, obviously.
Chance to check out that article by Todd Maiden. Definitely check it out, everyone, if you're watching it and viewing now. But one of the things I really took to heart was when your CEO said, hey, we don't really kind of have any kind of ties to Ukraine. It just seems like the right thing to do. Can you talk about that? Because it seems like, of course, it's one thing to make some type of social media post, but there's a whole nother thing when you put some action behind it.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of, and nothing wrong. I mean, bringing attention to the cause is important. People are going on social media and they're sharing what's going on, but unfortunately, that's not enough. And money talks much louder than just publicity at wartime, because money, at the end of the day, is what buys supplies, it's what buys, shelter, food, aid, medicine. So yeah, we don't have any ties to Ukraine except for having a couple of Ukrainian employees. But it just seems like the right thing to do. On a personal level, my wife is actually Ukrainian, and she has a family in Kiev. Her mom right now is in a shelter in Kiev, and her mother's boyfriend is actually out fighting for his country. But that's nor here or there, really. The point is that it's just beautiful to see competitors, a lot of different carriers getting together for this cause. And also I've been extremely happy to see that this has been largely a bipartisan issue. Whichever news station you turn on, everybody seems to understand that this is unjust and that aid is very much needed there. Yeah.
So you guys are spearheading the collection of the aid, but you guys are also asking for, if people prefer to make directed donations, you guys also have a couple of groups where you're directing them for specific donations as well. What groups are you guys supporting?
We pick groups based on how easy it is to donate to them, and we looked at where the funds go, essentially. We picked UNICEF, as well as Save the Children and the Red Cross, those three organizations that we've been pointing the carriers to donate to. And if you don't mind, if I can give a quick shout out to the carriers that have been participating so far, I'm so grateful, and it's really amazing how quickly all the professionals in these companies acted after us reaching out to them and kind of coordinating it. So big shout outs to NFI, Unlimited Carrier, Arca Express, KGZ, HMD, Arthur Express, Bright Logistics, Cadence Premier, MB Global, GTS, Bond Transit, Fleet Advantage, High Boost Corporation, Carrier's Edge, and Pilot Flying J. If anybody has any questions, or because a lot of people want to help, but they don't really know where to start, as far as I can tell, because there's so many different places where you can donate. People are concerned about am I doing it the right way? How should I be doing it at all? All I'm really doing is, all we're trying to do is just to connect people and sort of encourage them and explain to them the best ways to donate. So if anybody has questions and wants to join, please email me directly, Sergey@gptransco.com. And I'll be glad to get with you and talk about how we can do some things together. After this, the FreightWaves article by Todd came out, our CEO Dominic got calls from multiple other carriers saying they would love to join. Carriers here domestically as well as in Europe, and it's been really, really touching. I'm very, very grateful for everybody's help and support.
So we all know that logistics is truly a global business, and our supply chain doesn't run without the support and the interconnectivity of every single company, regardless of if you're a competitor or if you're in a competing sector in the logistics industry. So can you talk a little bit about what it means to you to see the step up from folks and from carriers that might be competitors with each other, especially since you are in such close proximity in Illinois, and how it's important to put aside maybe those personal business differences when it comes to doing the right thing for humanitarian aid?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing that we did is we thought, who can we reach out to first? And we thought about, we're in Joliet, Illinois. We've been in business for about 17 years. So we know a good number of the companies that are here in Illinois. So we started reaching out to them, and they're all essentially our competitors. Companies, that try to hire our drivers, and some drivers from them come to us and so on. And again, like I said, it was really beautiful to see that the immediate response from companies that we normally would compete with. Not all the companies that are competitors of ours, but a good number of them are. And for an issue like this, it's nobody even considered the fact that we are competitors in the industry. Is just that what we can do together, it's more important than anything else at this moment. And I know a lot of companies, we don't have an office in Ukraine, but I know a good number of companies do. I think I saw a FreightWaves article talking about Landstar having a major office in Ukraine being closed for the time being. So I think this really hits close to home for many, many companies and for industry in general. So that's what I've been seeing.
And Sergey, as you mentioned earlier, the awareness is great, but really being able to put that action behind it is really that's going to thing that is going to push a lot of efforts forward. And we are so appreciative of you and what your company is doing. Real quick, can you give us one last shout out? And in case we want to donate, any companies watching right now, where can they go to be a part of this?
Again, the three places that we've been highlighting for donations are UNICEF, Save the Children, and ICRF. If you need any help or assistance or any information about how to do so and what's the best way and so on, just send me an email directly at Sergey, Sergey, @gptransco.com. I'll get back to you very quickly and would be glad to help you coordinate any kind of donations or any kind of efforts that you'd like to do. Absolutely. And thank you both for having me on here. I really appreciate the help from FreightWaves to bring a little bit more publicity to this important cause.
And we appreciate you guys for being a spearheaded effort to support the people in Ukraine as well. Thank you. And as he mentioned, if you guys want to donate or have questions, make sure that you get in contact with Sergey there at GP Transco.